everybody, welcome back to Homestead Heart, and today is the day for the garden tour. Yes, we are gonna do a garden tour. So without any further ado, we are gonna go ahead and get into it because yes, this is gonna be a lengthy video, but you know I'm long-winded, so you should know me by now. All right, y'all, so we are gonna start this tour in the melon patch. I recently gave an update on the melon patch, but we have to start here. We have to include this in the garden tour. So y'all, right here in the front, we have our pumpkins. And as you can see, the pumpkins are not doing so great. And I'm not sure why they're not doing so great, but I don't know. The leaves, we got a lot of yellowing right here on these leaves, as you can see, and it's not a water issue because we got the irrigation set up. In here, we're not overwatering or underwatering. The watering is pretty consistent day by day, but we are having some issues with our pumpkins. In fact, we lost one entirely. And this over here, you all, I think this is our, which pumpkin is this? Oh, this is the sugar pie pumpkin right here, okay? This is the sugar pie pumpkin. I think this is a sugar pie pumpkin, and that is a sugar pie pumpkin as well. Now, this one right here, I don't believe is pumpkin at all. No, this is cantaloupe right here, but this is a pumpkin right here. Let's see what we got growing. Now, this is that Connecticut field pumpkin that I had to start a little later because the other seed for the Big Macs did not germinate at all. So I had to start my little dollar store seeds. And this is that Connecticut field. And it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty healthy, as you can see. It's got some yellowing on the leaf, but that's okay. And we even have, wait a minute. I thought I saw a pumpkin. Hold on. All right, so now this is that Big Mac's pumpkin right here. And Big Mac's is doing good, but we do have some squash bug eggs on the leaves here, so I'm going to pinch those off. And I know we're not going to be able to control these squash bugs in their entirety because at some point they just win, okay? So, but I do look for damage. And so far, all I see is these few little eggs. Yeah. All I see is just these few little eggs right here. But this is that Big Mac's pumpkin. And as you can see, I'll try to move this around a bit. This one already has a pumpkin on it right here. Can you see that? Look at that. Already has a pumpkin growing on it. And it's doing really good. And so I'm trying to redirect all of the pumpkin that way. Because I don't want the pumpkin growing that way with the other melons. So, yeah, but those are our pumpkins. Now, I did see some sugar baby pumpkins growing. And I didn't even remember. Okay, wait, right here. So we have some sugar baby pumpkin on the end right here. Can you see that? There's a little one there. I'm going to move over here. Here's a little one here. That's my little sugar pie. There's one there. Here's one here. So it's doing pretty good. And there are some few little babies over on that one as well, you all. Let me see if we can see them. Yeah. There's one here. Got one little pumpkin there. One little pumpkin, you can't see it, but there it is. Coming along here. So the sugar babies are doing pretty good with the exception of the one that died. I'm not sure what happened, but we did lose one. Come on, let's move on. All right, so now this one is our cantaloupe right here. And we do have some cantaloupe already on this vine. Come close, let me show you. Look here. We have one here. We have one here. We have one here. I don't know if you can see it because it's so little. And then one here. So this already has cantaloupe all over it, you all. And this variety, oh, that's honeydew melon. This one is our top market cantaloupe here. Cantaloupe all over this. Top market cantaloupe. A lot of little babies down inside and coming along on the vine. Here, just a lot of little ones, y'all. As you can see, the cantaloupe is doing real good, but I'm going to show you what else we got growing. Being very careful not to step on any of the vines. Now here is another one, y'all. This is that small Persian melon right here. And one of the plants in here is dying off, as you can see. Not really sure what's happening here, but one of them are dying off. And I'm going to come back with my snips. And I'm going to cut it off. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. This bag is not big enough to support the root system of the two plants. That could be one thing. Now with the squash, with the pumpkin, it could have been squash bugs because I did kill a couple of squash bugs inside of that pot just a few days ago. So it probably took it out, right? But this pot just may not be big enough to support these two plants that was in it. I'm not sure. Okay? All right. So now we do have the honeydew melon, the top market cantaloupe. We have the Persian melons. Let me show you this. This is my favorite, right? This was my Yamata cream watermelon. My Yamata cream, and just look. Just look at that. The soil is moist, so it's not dry. Like I said, the watering is consistent, but I don't know what happened here, right? In comparison to this Yamata cream watermelon right here, this one looks good, right? And so does the one behind it. But who knows what happened to that one, okay? Now these two is our Congo watermelon. We only did two plants of the Congo melon, okay? And these two plants are doing real good so far. And already got watermelon coming on. Already. So this is doing really, really good. The Congo melon is doing good. And then over on this side, we have strawberry watermelon, okay? We have strawberry watermelon. And I am really excited about trying these. One of our subscribers sent us some strawberry watermelon seed and said that we would really like this melon. So we're giving it a try. And so far, all four of the strawberry watermelon plants are looking pretty good. This one has some yellowing on it, but it's looking pretty good. I'm going to pinch that off of there just to get rid of the leaf. Actually, I better take it out of here. All right. Now, no melon yet. No melon yet. But look at the leaves right here. Look at how the leaves are beginning to curl up here. I'm not sure what's going on here. Can you see that? Look at how the leaves are beginning to curl on the ends. I'm going to have to do some research and see what's going on with this. And we do have one little watermelon right here. Can you see it? Look at that. One little melon right here. But the leaves on this vine not looking so good. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to have to check it out and see what's going on. Alright, y'all. So that concludes how everything is growing in the watermelon patch. I have such high hopes for these grow bags. So I hope that they work well, okay? But we'll see. We'll see. I figure if the melons can grow in a tire, then surely they can grow in these grow bags. Now, one thing I'll tell you about the grow bags is that they do dry out fast, really fast. So you can't skip a day with watering these because they dry out so fast. So we have the irrigation that we have set up on these are soaker hoses, okay? And we have the soaker hoses looped around on the inside of the grow bag, and then they're covered underneath the mulch. So we water them every evening, and they do really well. It's not like just soaking the bag to where they're just constantly sitting in water, but we have to do it that way because this bag dries out extremely fast, okay? So you all, yeah, that concludes the melon, but let me show you this right here that I decided to leave over here in the melon patch. You see these? All of this right here is inside of a raised bed. And these are wild blackberries. And I said to Mr. H, because he was going to clean everything out before his accident, and I said, well, can't we just leave them, right? Because, y'all, look at all these berries. We have berries everywhere. And this is just going to make it so easy to just come in and pick as many wild blackberries as I want. But we will keep it kind of cut back. That'll kind of allow us the opportunity to control how far it goes, especially by them growing up in the raised bed. It will allow us to control exactly where these berries go and keep them contained, okay? So yeah, I'm real excited about all of these blackberries that are growing in here. I mean, it's just a lot of them. It's just a lot of them. They're everywhere. So this is going to be easy pickings. All right, y'all, let's move on. All right, y'all, so we're going to come out of the melon patch. One last look. We're going to come out of the melon patch. More blackberries. And we're going to come over here now to the grapevine. The grapevine is going to be, this is our entrance to the melon patch right here. And cattle panel trellises will be built for these grapes. So as you can see, we have 5 grapevines. We have 2 Concord grapes on this side with Jackson. We have 1 Reliance grape right here that came from Stark Brothers. And then we have 2 of the Catawba grapes right here. Okay? Now, so far, these have been doing really good in the ground. They've been doing really good in the ground, you all. And I'm pleased with them. I'm pleased with the way they look. They haven't been planted very long, but man, do they look good and strong. I'm very pleased with these. Yes. Now this one came with some grapes on it. I was tempted to cut those off, but I didn't. I just left them. So this one came with a few grapes on it. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and move on from the grapes, y'all, to the spring garden. All right. So now we're in the raised bed. And remember, in these raised beds, I planted turmeric, ginger, and sugarcane. And I need to get the grass out because the grass is starting to grow up. But you all, I have been getting so concerned. Girlfriend, come on, Egypt, get down. I have been getting so concerned about the ginger because I hadn't seen a sign, not one sign of any ginger until just here recently with this one little shoot that has come up right here. Now again, I got to get the grass out. The grass is growing. Oh my goodness. There's a, wait. Girl, here's another little shoot that, girlfriend, here's another little shoot that was hiding behind the grass. So the ginger is starting to emerge. Now that's grass. She's just all in the way. And this is the sugar cane right here in this one little bed. And this is the only one that is up so far. This is it right here. She is doing too much. Gotta get the grass out. But that is the only sugar cane that has emerged so far. I'm not sure if the others are going to emerge or not, because you all know we've had some terrible frost weather here, so I'm not really sure. So far, there's no sign of the turmeric, and this bed is full of turmeric that I planted. But I know I gotta come and get the grass out if I want it to even have a chance to grow, right? So, but this is the turmeric bed. No sign of turmeric. A few signs of ginger just in this one bed, but that's it. Not this bed. Nothing. So far, there's nothing. But we're hopeful. We'll see. As the temperatures warm up, I'm hoping that we'll start to see more activity with the ginger and the turmeric, and hopefully even the sugar cane. Mind you, the only piece of sugar cane that's up is the sugar cane that I got from Lead Farmer 73. The others, nothing. So let's move on. Alright, y'all, so in this next raised beds, the chickens got out and they did a number in this bed, and I have to admit that I was furious. Yes, I was. I was absolutely furious. Let's move this out of the way. Now, in this bed right here, you all, this is my cilantro, and you can see it's doing really well. I'm gonna top it off here real soon and just cut it back a little bit so it could keep growing out instead of up. But this is my cilantro, both of them, and they smell so good. And this is my dill that I planted. Now, some of the dill I thought was gone, right? This is called fern leaf dill. And y'all, I'm going to be using all of this because, hey, Mr. H loves his dill pickles, right? Now, I had some planted back here on this row, and you know, with this one, the chickens dug it all out and scratched it all out, and I thought it was completely done for until I saw this right here, this little one coming back right here. Get the grass out of there. But yeah, I thought it was done for, but it's not. It's coming back, and these are looking really, really good, the dill and the cilantro. All right, now next to it, you all, I have some, I think these are the Ozark, no, these are the All-Star strawberries that we purchased from Lowe's months ago. We purchased from Lowe's months ago. Yes, the chickens got in and did a lot of damage to my strawberries, okay? But I'm hoping that they will bounce back. And these are the Ozark Beauties right here. Now, the Ozark Beauties is a June-bearing strawberry, if I'm not mistaken. And the All-Stars is an ever-bearing strawberry. So now, girl, okay. So now, I do have to come in here and weed this bed. But you all, you see the chickens got in, they scratched out all of the straw, they kicked it all out of the bed. So it's just a mess right now. Okay, and right next to it, I got some weeds that I gotta pull up. Now, right next to it here is my pineapple sage. Yes, pineapple sage. And I'm excited about the pineapple sage. I like sage, period. But pineapple sage, y'all, man, and it smells so good too. Oh, it smells so good. It smells so good. So yes, this is my pineapple sage right here, and it's looking good. Now, the Ozark Beauties are the ever-bearing, if I didn't say it correctly at first, and the All-Stars are the June-bearing. Yeah, I wrote it on the label so I wouldn't forget. All right, let's move to the next bed. All right, y'all, in this bed right next to the pineapple sage, this is actually my sage bed right here. But I did lose a lot of the sage thanks to the chickens. They scratched a lot of it up. But I still had that one plant that I purchased. And then I had a itty bitty piece of the one that they didn't kill, right? So that's still there. Now, if you know anything about sage, you know sage is going to be all over this bed in no time. So that is perfectly fine that they tore out some and I still have a few pieces left, okay? Now right here in the middle is my Moringa tree, and I'm hoping that it does well because I did transplant it kind of late and the leaves are kind of yellow, so I'm hoping that they'll bounce back from that transplant, okay? I have one there in the middle, the Moringa, and then I have one here in the center as well. Now what I have in this L shape right here, that's just basil, and I have more of it here. That's just more basil. Now in this row right here, that's all spearmint, and you know spearmint is going to take over as well. This bed, these beds are really our perennial beds, so that we don't have to worry about. Now this is ebony. Y'all don't know, but this is ebony. That's Egypt. And the way that you can tell them apart, ebony has more white underneath her neck and more underneath her belly, while Egypt has just a smaller patch underneath her. But she's all over my food. Both of them. And they're only over here because they're following me, okay? But this spearmint, by the time I harvest all of this basil, this spearmint will be taking over, right? And hopefully I won't have to plant the spearmint again. I have multiple varieties of mint here on the homestead. I have the sweet mint, I have the spearmint, and in this bed, oh, we put the ground cover down here where we have our irrigation lines set up. And they're on this timer right here, you all. They're on this timer, and this timer is working out fantastic. We got it from Lowe's. It's doing an awesome job. Now, I did mention that I have multiple varieties of mint. I have sweet mint in a container. That's the spearmint. And this one is my lemon mint right here, okay? This is the lemon mint, and here, and it will all come here, girl. Get off of there. Get out of this bed. And it will all start to take over this bed here real soon. And this is another one of our Moringa trees right here, okay? All right, so we're going to move on to the last raised bed on this row, which is this way. All right, so now in this bed right here, you all, I have my thyme, and this is a German thyme, okay? That's German thyme, and I just kind of planted it sporadically in the bed. But I also planted it in front of this lavender, which is also going to become a very, very large perennial along with the thyme. The thyme is not going to grow too tall, not like the lavender, but this bed, I believe, utilizing it for both the lavender and the thyme, I think was a good idea, was a good thought. All right, and then right next to it, I have another Moringa tree. Yes, we have a lot of Moringa. I have another Moringa tree here. The leaves are yellow, but I'm hoping again that it'll bounce back. Now, what I have here is lemon balm. That's lemon balm, and so is that in the back there, okay? Okay, so now in this bed right here, you all, more weeds. It's my German chamomile. And the German chamomile, as you can see, is doing really good. I have it planted in multiple areas. That's 2, 3, and then I have one right here. And this chamomile is going to grow. Let me move this bag out of the way. This chamomile is going to grow quite large, okay? It's going to grow quite large. So yeah, I have just a few plants in here, and that's it. Now right here is my last variety of mint. I showed you the spearmint, the lemon mint, the sweet mint is in a container. I'll show you how large that has gotten since I put it in the container. And then lastly in this bed is the peppermint. And the peppermint is doing so well. I mean, I don't know if I showed you that when I first planted it, but it was so small. And I planted the peppermint. I got this mint from I don't know which one of those big box stores, but I got it from one of the big box stores because all of my peppermint died, and I really wanted peppermint, and I didn't want to have to wait to start it over again, and it smells so divine. So this peppermint is in this bed, and yes, it's going to consume this entire area, which is why I'm glad to have planted all of these in these little 4x4 sections of this bed, because that will help to control exactly how far they spread, because all of these are perennial herbs that will spread throughout the bed if you give them the room to do so. Okay? All right, let's move on. All right, y'all, so now we are in the spring garden. Okay, so now in the spring garden, remember, we had a lot of spring vegetables. All of our brassicas were in this garden, and getting them planted out. We planted them out, and then not long after that, we had that freeze, right? So many of you asked, if they're cool weather plants, why didn't they survive? Well, cool weather plants doesn't necessarily mean that they can survive a freeze, okay? Plus, they were young, very small plants, and some of them made it, and some of them didn't. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. But you'll be able to see in the garden just how sporadic the plants are, because those empty spaces, well, that's just where a lot of them died, okay? So let's go ahead and show you now. Right here, you all, is, now I've already harvested this cabbage. Our cabbages are overdue with the harvest, okay? Our cabbages are overdue, and that's why some of them are splitting. So as you can see, we've already harvested this one right here, but this one has split, and I'm going to take this up today. Now, just because the cabbage has split, does that mean I'm not going to use it? No, that's not what that means at all. It just means that I'm late harvesting it, but it's going to be good, and it tastes still, you all. This cabbage is so sweet. Okay. That's good. And you can see this one is just getting started. It's so late because that freeze stunted it. I don't know if it's going to grow at all, but I'm leaving it in the ground, and hopefully we'll see. This one died. This one died. This is a weed. But here's another one of our small cabbages. Now this one, if you look closer, this one looks really good. I'm going to go ahead and harvest it before it starts to split, okay? But this cabbage looks so good, you all. Yes, it does. All right, so now these right here were supposed to be our red cabbages. We lost all of the red cabbages. This one has split as well. But if nothing else, like, I'm going to probably use this to make a delicious coleslaw out of. But it's really good. This one is not quite ready yet. You can see it's just now getting started, okay? It's just now getting started. This one is done. Look at that. Come on this side right here. Look at that. Now these are all in early variety here. Here's another one that's ready. I'm going to harvest all of these cabbages today. And here's another one that is split. All right, you all, so these are some more of our red cabbages right here, okay? And as you can see, the cabbage worms did get to a few of them, okay, because they got holes in them. But we came out and we picked off a lot of worms, and I'm going to talk more about that. But these are fairly young right here, so it's not quite time for them to start producing and forming their heads yet. But they are coming along, and the leaves, just look at the size of these leaves, right? Look at my hand, and look at these leaves. Just look at that. These leaves are huge, you all. I don't know if you can really see it, but The leaves are huge, okay? All right, so we're gonna come over here to our broccoli. And this one is fairly young. It hasn't even started forming a head yet. But you can see the leaf damage done by the cabbage worms. And yes, we did have them. Look at there. Let's take you off. That little booger there. Alright, so we did have quite a lot of cabbage worms on here, but we picked them all off. The majority of them were picked off. Look at that. Yeah, a lot of leaf damage. Now, and we did have them under cover, but we didn't have the cover secure enough. And I think when the wind would blow, some parts that wasn't secure would flap up in the wind, and that would cause an opening for that moth to get in. And once, I think we came out one day and opened the cover, and she flew from under the cover. So that means that she found a way in. So she did a lot of damage, y'all. But as you look down in here, these are beginning to form heads, as you can see. Just look. Right here. Come on down this way. Right here. Yeah. And this one is just getting started. Here's one that's ready to pick, really, you all. Yeah, that one's really ready to come off. Now this one hasn't quite started yet. This one has a ways to go right here. And so does this one. But if you'll look, the little head is forming in there. So, yeah. So now, right here, this one is ready to go. I'm going to harvest this broccoli today. Look at the size of that broccoli head. That is a nice sized broccoli head. Now, when I harvest this broccoli, I'm not going to take up the whole plant. I'm only going to cut out the head, okay? Because when I just cut out the head, the plant is going to continue to produce these little broccoli shoots. It won't form another head, but it will form other little shoots that we can come out and just cut off and still enjoy the broccoli for the life of the plant, okay? So now, this one's not doing anything yet, but as you can see, right here, this one here is still forming, and this one is ready to go. Look at the size of this head on this broccoli. So this one is ready, okay? So we got several broccoli heads that's ready to go, all right? This is more cabbages on this row that have not formed yet. I planted these after the frost with the hopes that we could get and not lose all of our cabbage, because we lost a lot of cabbages, broccoli. I lost all of the cauliflower, all of the Brussels sprouts, all of them. I don't have any. And this little one lone little cabbage plant here, it just didn't do anything else. That's as far as it went. But all of the rest of these, yeah, I'm hoping that they will do well, even though it's about to start heating up. And these are more of those same plants, and you can see the damage on them. You can see the leaf damage, but they've been undercover since we picked all of those moths off. I think we picked about 20 to 25 worms off of each plant. That's a lot of worms to be on one plant, and they can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. All right, y'all, so now these are our mini cucumbers, our little cucumbers, and really these are my favorites right here, which are the gherkins. Now here, and they're not looking too hot either. Maybe because the temperatures have just been so cool overnight that they're just not having an opportunity to really just take off. But these right here are our Mexican sour gherkins right here. Okay? These are Mexican sour gherkins. And I do have to pull the grass out. Man, life always finds a way. Ooh wee, I done pulled out that whole plant. God doggone it. I hope that makes it. Okay. Now, down here are the West Indian Burgherkins right here. As you can see, I'm going to circle around so you can see them. And they are looking really good too. Just look at that. That's just a beautiful, beautiful plant. It looks a lot better than that Mexican sour gherkin so far. Yeah, they do look pretty good. Now, right across the way, and I've lost some of these. I've lost several, and I've replanted the seeds. But we'll see how they do. Now, this right here is the Persian Gherkin. This is the one that I'm actually going to use to make gherkins for myself because I love gherkins. And I even planted more seeds right here next to the plant just so that if the plant, because hey, they were involved. It was just a little too cold in the greenhouse for them. I didn't know how well they would grow, if they would be stunted. I didn't know. So I put some more seeds in. And these seeds have not come up yet. And these are just now starting to come up next to that one. And I have several spaces where there are no seeds coming up. All right. And I have that one little plant, but no seeds. Nothing here. And then this one little plant with a few seeds coming up behind it. There. So this is that Persian gherkin. I'm sorry, Parisian gherkin. And this one is coming up sporadically as well. These temperatures have really been something else. Now this is the eggplant row. I don't even have to say anything about this. Just look at it. Poor eggplants. They just not... They just look bad, don't they? Yes, they do. Grass up from there. Look at them, y'all. I feel so bad for them. Now, I got two of them back here that's trying to make it. Those two are trying to make it, but not looking so good the rest of the way. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about this row here in just a second. But what I'm going to do first is come over here because this is my other row of eggplant. I have no idea why some of them are doing so good and others are not. These are all the same type. This is, what is this? This is my squash. Oh, that's a sweet dumpling squash. I'm going to see how that does. I just stuck that there because one of the eggplants died and I just put that back here. But I'm going to see how that sweet dumpling does. Now, these are my eggplants. These are all Black Beauty. Okay? Just look. That's Black Beauty. That's Black Beauty. I think this one is some that we purchased. Yeah. Okay. Purchased that one. Probably more than that. I think it was like a 6-pack. Which is probably what died over there. I don't know. But anyway, this one. Yeah, they're struggling, you all. They are seriously struggling to make it. Now, this is that Japanese eggplant. And you can see they have a little bit of damage. And they're struggling too. But y'all, look at how good they look, though. In comparison to the others. So, they look a lot better. So, in any case, we're hoping for eggplant. We love eggplant. And yes, we had to buy these. The ones that we planted all died in the greenhouse from that frost. It was just too cold. They just didn't make it. All right, now, moving on. What is this gorgeous row right here that's just thriving in the midst of all of this carnage? Just look at this row. Do y'all know what these are? Believe it or not, these are radishes. These are the China rose radish. Look at the size of this plant. Just look. This plant is taller than me. As tall as me. Right? Just look. Flowers all on the ground. Now, not only do these China rose radish produce some of the largest plants for radish and some of the largest fruit as well. Because look at the size of this radish. And you can harvest it late and it still tastes pretty good, believe it or not. Look at the size of that radish down there. I don't know if you can see it. But it gets really big. And it's about 3 or 4 of them planted in one spot. But you all, I didn't plant these for the actual radish. I planted these. Let me come back out. I planted these in this location for a reason. Okay? I absolutely love the seed pods that these China rose radish produce. I know a lot of the other radishes produce their own seed pods. I understand. But for some reason, they don't taste as good to me as the seed pods from this China rose radish. I absolutely love these. And now as they have started to flower, they're preparing to go to seed. I put them here so that I could just come here in one location and harvest as many seed pods as I can. And the plan is to try to pickle them. I tried to harvest as many as I could last season to pickle, but they just never made it. It just wasn't enough because we kept eating them. They were so good. We just kept eating them. So, you all, these plants, look at this one. Just look at how big this plant is. Just look at that. And this has our little butterflies and bees and whatnot all over these plants. All over. But I did harvest one of the China rose radishes to see if I could compare it and see if there would be a difference with taste. There wasn't. There just wasn't. Yeah, that's why I planted all of these in a row. I gave them their own row because it's important that I get these pods this time, and I did not want to be going all over the place trying to get these pods from this place and that place. I just didn't want to do that, right? So you all, I decided to just give them their own row, and I'm going to see how that works because they're already starting to form. You can't see, the pods are just so itty. Wait. Now the pods are just so itty bitty right now, right? That you can't really hardly see them. They're just so tiny. But they're coming. And it's hundreds of them. It's hundreds of them. They're everywhere, right? But this plant, as you can see, if I stand it up tall, straight, this plant, this one is just about as tall as I am. And so is this one, but I don't want to break the stem. And that stem is about an inch in diameter, if not more. So yeah, I like this row of the China rose radishes. Not to mention the leaves, y'all. If you harvest these leaves right here, when they're really small, the leaves are really good. The leaves are really good. You can wash them and mix them in your salad mix. Radish greens are good, right? I love them. You just have to get them when they're small. Don't wait till they get like this size. You don't want those, okay? Because they don't taste so good. Ask me how I know. All right, so right next to the eggplant, I have a row of table king acorn squash that I had to start from seed because all of the plants died. Yes, they died. And some of the seeds are just now coming up. Man, I'm excited to see these seeds come up. I didn't think they were going to do it, but here they are. Wow, I'm so happy to see them. I thought it's just been too cold. I thought it was too cold. And then on this row right here, now this right here is my pink banana squash right here. These are going to be vining squash, so they are over here to kind of stay out of the way. This is the jumbo pink banana. Jumbo pink banana right here. And then right here, coming on down the row here. This is that Algonquin squash. Now we're going to see how well these squash grows. Now, to my surprise, I lost all of my cushaw, right? But I started the seeds again. Put some more seeds in. And guess what? None of them are up. Not a one. it is just too cold. The temperatures are just too cold. As you can see, none of these are up. Not a one. And I planted these along the same time as I planted all of those. Okay? So, even though none of my cushaw are up, and y'all know how I feel about that cushaw, right? That is hands down my favorite winter variety squash. There's no other that compares to it in my opinion. Butternut comes close a little bit, but it's not cushaw, okay? So what I have done, because I don't want to go this season without doing everything that I can to grow cushaw, I've restarted some seeds, but because the temperatures get so cool at night, I just popped them in the greenhouse. And it's hot in there. So I'm hoping that the heat will go ahead and push those plants up. And when we get to the point where the overnight temperatures are in the upper 60s and 70s, then I'm going to put them out. Yes, it's going to be late. Very late. But I'm going to try, because that's all I can do, right? All right, y'all. So now we're going to move on to our next set of raised beds. We got a lot of stuff in here. More stuff. Yeah, it's been a busy garden season. We're going to walk on down. Alright, y'all. So in this raised bed, this is the raised bed where I said the radishes were overdue to be harvested, right? Yeah. And to the point where they have flowers, they've started flowering, they've started going to seed and everything. But that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I harvest these things out and the chickens love them, and so does Jax. And that's perfectly fine. Now, in this bed is also my potatoes. I did plant radish seeds on one side and potatoes on the other. And as you can see, the potatoes, they're growing up pretty good. Okay? They're growing up pretty good. They're doing a pretty good job, right? So now, and across from it is the radish. But the interesting thing is all of the volunteer plants. The volunteer lettuces that we had just kind of come up in this bed from last season. Just look. And there's more. And we have been enjoying them too. So yes, you all. So now that's just more of the China rose radish. But here is something that is new for us. And that is growing baby corn. I've never grown baby corn before. But I am really excited to grow baby corn. And I planted it on the other side of our lettuces here. I need to come and harvest some more. Look at here. Probably a slug or something eating my lettuce. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna find you. But anyway, you all, so this lettuce is really good. And of course, this is the green salad bowl and the gourmet salad mix right here. Come on, Tony, you can't get in my lettuce, baby. Okay, and so this is the baby corn. It hasn't even begun to come close to tasseling, but this corn, I'll probably be harvesting this real soon here, okay? Because it grows pretty fast. So I'm very pleased with the growth of this corn, with this baby corn so far. And of course, the lettuces. Loving the lettuces, y'all. Easiest thing to grow in the world is some lettuce. Now, of course, you can see, I'm going to go around to the other side and just show you just how fast that rosemary is growing. That rosemary is just, man, it's growing extremely fast. Come on, let's go look at it. Now, before I get round, I know I've overlooked this, but this is just another container of lettuce that we had. And I have a moringa plant or moringa tree in here as well. And as you can see, it's yellowing too. But like I said, after transplanting it, that's what happened. And I'm hoping that it will bounce back because I was extremely late transplanting those trees. But as you can see, the lettuces are looking good. And I'm just picking those off, a few leaves here and there for salads every other day or so. So yeah, that's looking good. But let's come on down here and look at this rosemary, y'all. Next to this baby corn with some more lettuce. Look at here. This is that green salad bowl mix right here. And you can see how beautiful the lettuces are. That's a weed. You can see how beautiful the lettuces are. I mean, they are just absolutely gorgeous, and they taste so good. But look at this rosemary. I have so much rosemary. Just so much. Yeah, so much rosemary. And I have 2 of these plants. I mean, you can see just how big this bush has gotten and just how much it has kind of started to sprawl out all over this bed. It's just getting really, really large. Yes, it is. And I have a second one right here. Now, it's growing and doing well, but it's not as big as that other one. But just look at it. Just look at it. 2 of them, right? And actually, you all, to be honest, if you buy 1 rosemary plant, you really don't have to buy another one, because you can propagate this and have more rosemary than you will ever know what to do with. Okay, so now in this bed, as you can see, there's another moringa tree. Leaves are yellow, I know, but I planted it right in the center. And then right along the edge over there, I started some more lettuce seed, just to try to have as much continuous harvest of lettuce as we can throughout this season. Now, what are these with all of these little holes in them? Y'all, this is my ground cherries. These are my Aunt Molly's ground cherries. And I have a plant here. I have a plant there. Hey, Tony. Tony the tiger. I didn't ask y'all to stay out of my garden bed. Come on, little bitty. Oh, you're not so little. Okay, so now those are my Aunt Molly's ground cherries right there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that, y'all, I am looking forward to. This is my first time growing ground cherries, but I am so looking forward to growing them. Now, this right here is some Italian oregano. Tony, get out. This is some Italian oregano that I transplanted to this bed right here in this row. There's some more that's kind of covered up there. Tony. And here's some. Okay, I'll walk away from the bed so that he can follow me, because otherwise he's just going to stick with me. But anyway, that's some Italian oregano. Yes, it is going to be all over this bed, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to get the raised beds to a point where they're mostly perennial anyway. All right, y'all. Let's move on to something that I'm not so proud of. All right, so I have a lot of fencing down, y'all. We're still working on the fencing. It's going slow. It's going real slow. It's going real slow. But that's okay. I'm still working on it. We're still working on it, okay? It's just going slow. But now, you all, look at this. This right here is supposed to be my turnip green bed. And just look at it. It's just a hot mess. It's got a lot of bug damage. Yes, it does. But it's just a hot mess, y'all. And it's my fault, really, because I overseeded this bed. I planted so many seeds in this bed till it's just ridiculous. Just look at this. Just look at this mess. This is all my fault. I put way too many seeds. I think I was just rushing. And I put way too many seeds in this bed. There was no way. Look at there. There was no way I was going to get anything worth talking about planting this many seeds. I mean, just too many. And I didn't even bother to come and thin them out. But I'm going to replant these for the fall. I'm going to replant these because I do want some turnips. And I want some rutabagas. And I planted the rutabagas as heavy. Well, maybe not as heavy, but I planted them heavy as well. But as you can see, they're doing a little better. I'm going to harvest this one. I'm going to harvest that baby. Oh, that's going to be so good. But I didn't plant these seeds nearly as dense as I did the turnips, and I hate that I did that. I should have been more careful with just how dense I planted those, because boy, did I take it overboard. So yeah, but that's my fault. I know it is, because I was just rushing, just throwing seeds out there, and yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Alright y'all, so in this bed right here are our Nantes carrots, okay? And when I planted the carrots initially, I planted some in rows, right? And I'll show you those down there. I planted them in rows. But this particular bed, I decided not to plant them in rows, and I just kind of planted them out kind of dense, kind of like I did the turnips and the rutabagas. And they're growing, right? They're growing, but it's not as, I don't know, I guess I would have preferred more organization in these beds, but just trying to hurry up and get it done, I just was kind of putting seeds out and getting them put in. But they are still growing, and they are looking pretty good too. It's not time to harvest any of these carrots, okay? It's not nowhere near time to harvest any of these carrots, but this is just to show you just how densely I have these carrots planted. And look, they're small, right? They're really small, and like I said, it's not time to harvest them, but you can come along and just like harvest a few at a time, and they would be good for salads, or if you just wanted to snack on a carrot or so, you can come and pull these up like that. But you all, these have a ways to go because they are so densely populated, so densely planted, that I will come out and just start harvesting a few here and there just to add to dinner or whatever. So yeah, I mean, this works, okay? If you wanted to just kind of throw your seeds out and then just kind of rake them in, or however you do it, you can do it that way, and they'll grow just fine. The carrots will kind of move each other out of the way a bit. You probably won't get those really long carrots that you're used to seeing maybe in the market, but you'll get your carrots. You'll get them. They just won't be that big because they do need that room to kind of spread out and grow. So if you're okay with densely planting them like this, then you can do that. Otherwise, you might want to be more strategic with the way you put your carrot seeds out. Okay? All right, let's move on. All right, y'all, now we're at our onions. Remember, I did a video talking about the onions and not cutting off the tops and which method I liked better, you know. And so I did that video, and maybe I'll post that video somewhere in this video, okay? But as you can see, I didn't cut the tops back on these. And it's time to harvest these onions, actually, you all. Look at this, because the onion tops got so heavy, they just started falling over. Look, come close. Let me show you this. Look at this. See these onions? The neck of this is really soft. So it's just time to harvest these onions. Now, I kind of believe that if I would have cut these tops back and given them more room, more airflow, and forced them to put that energy into the bulb instead of the leaves, that these tops, maybe they wouldn't have fallen over so soon, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this out. Just work it out a little bit. And look at the root system on this plant. Look at that. And it's actually deeper than that. I broke it off quite a bit. But this onion, you all, and look at the size of it. It's a nice size onion, which is the perfect size that I like to cook with and that Mr. H and I like to enjoy. So this is a nice onion. And I'm going to take these onions and harvest them, and I'm going to put them on that plant, that tray rack that I have in the greenhouse. And I'll just let them sit in there for a few days to go ahead and completely dry out. I'm going to cut these tops off. Oops. Because I don't want to lose. I'm going to take the best parts of these tops, and I'm going to do my best to salvage them and dehydrate them, okay? So these are all of the yellow onions. As you can see, a lot of the tops are falling over, and it is time to go ahead now and start harvesting these and getting these out of the beds and getting them ready to dry. Now, some of you have asked the question, how are you going to store all of those onions? Once they dry, I just put them in my pantry, and I'll store them that way. These onions will store for several months. And you all, we eat a lot of onions, right? Somebody asked, what are you going to do with all of those onions? We're going to eat them. We eat a lot of onions, okay? So you all, once these dry out, I will be putting these in the pantry, and I will be pulling from my onions from the pantry in order to cook with throughout the day. And some things I use 2 onions for, depending, right? If I'm making a nice big pot of soup, then I'll probably use 2. And depending on the size, I might use 3. You never know. And you know, your other option for storing your onions is that you could always chop them up and put them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer. So you can store your onions that way, or you can just put them in a nice, cool, dark place, and there they should last for a little while, you know, maybe 4 or 5 months even, okay? Depending on the variety also, because some varieties don't store as well as others. Just make sure whatever variety of onion you're growing, you are growing a variety that will do well in your area, okay? All right, you all, so now we're down here to the carrots. And these are the carrots that I actually planted in rows. Now, the downside to planting these carrots the way that I did is that in the middle of the rows, there's a lot of grass. If you come closer, I'll show you. Just look at all of this grass in here among the carrots. Just look at that. That's a lot of grass. That's a lot of grass. And even if I just pull it, look at that. I may have one little piece of carrot. No, I don't. That's all grass. Well, here's a carrot top, but that's all grass, you all. That's a lot of grass that has grown up in the middle of the carrot row. So here's a row of carrot, and then all of this grass, and then carrots, and then a lot of grass. So for some reason, these carrots didn't have a chance to get nearly as tall as these. Now this over here, let me get this weed out of here. This is the Black Nebula carrot and the Pusa aceta carrot on this side, okay? And just look at the growth on these, right? Just look at the growth on those carrots. They have just literally outdone these others here. And I've even, let's see. Oh, I didn't write it down. But they have really grown so well compared to what I planted over here. And I'm going to have to go back and see what I put over here. But they have grown quite large versus the carrots on this side. So the Black Nebula, the Pusa aceta carrot is going to be a must grow on our homestead going forward. They have done so well. Can you see me? Here I am. Y'all, this bed, these 2 beds are our Jerusalem artichokes. I am so excited about this crop, you all. I am so excited. Now, remember, I had my little 6 Jerusalem artichokes, and I said, that's just not enough. So I went and got some more. Well, some of you said it's going to be more than what you need. Trust me. And yes, just look at it. I have a couple here that's kind of stunted down in here. I don't know if you can see, but these 2 plants here, they're not really growing up that good. They're just kind of stuck there at the bottom. Even this one, just kind of stuck, right? But I know that it's growing because it's strong and the leaves look pretty good. But these others here have taken off. Now this is a red Jerusalem artichoke in this bed, all right? This is red. And just look at how well they are doing. They're actually getting to the point where they are about to start producing flowers. Yes, they are. And that's a good sign because all of the growth for the actual sunchokes, if you will, is going on underneath the soil. But this is a good sign of just how much growth is taking place under the soil. So just look at how good these look, you all. I am so excited about growing Jerusalem artichoke. Just look at this bed. And yes, I planted them in a raised bed because we wanted to control them because they will spread, okay? So we wanted to keep them under control. We didn't want them to go any further than these beds right here. So that's why we put them in a raised bed, okay? Now, this is the last batch of Jerusalem artichoke that I planted right here. And these are white Jerusalem artichokes. And I forgot where I got these from, but these are the white ones. And they are growing fast. I planted these much later than I did those. And as you can see, they're up. And while we still have some that hasn't grown up yet, these are up. And they're growing very good. So you all, and the ants have already started like farming aphids on these plants. So I'm probably going to come back with some neem oil or something and spray these. Now look at this head right here. Let me show you what I mean. Come a little closer. As you can see, it's already beginning to produce flower. The flower is already trying to come here. Okay, back up just a little bit. It's already trying to produce a flower. So this is a good sign right here. All of them really are having flowers to come on the tops of them. So they're looking really good. I'm really excited about this. This is one of the crops that I have been wanting to plant since before we even got to the homestead. I've always wanted to plant some Jerusalem artichoke and some Egyptian walking onion, which I don't have yet. But these two were, this is what I wanted to start like really quickly. And I'm so happy I finally did, right? So the Egyptian walking onion, hopefully next season, I'll have plenty to plant. All right? So y'all, we're going to move on now to Big Mama's garden. Let's go. All right, y'all. So on these two rows right here, we are growing things that vine. As you can see, we have the trellises up. Mr. H did such a wonderful job with getting the trellises put up because we have to take them down every season and put them back up because of just different reasons, you know. We have to take them down and put them back up. So he did a wonderful job of getting them put back up for us so that our crops will have a really strong trellis to grow up on. And these are cattle panels. You can get these from your local Tractor Supply or perhaps any farm and feed store that would carry them, okay? So you all, and these are cattle panels, not hog panels. These are the cattle panels. It allows me to be able to get in and out of this trellis and harvest, makes it so easy. So this is perfect, okay? So now what we're growing on this first row here is all cucumber, all right? And these are my Japanese climbing cucumber. Again, I don't know what's going on here, but this was my black cherry tomato that I purchased. And you all, just look at it. It's not doing good at all. Look, it's like something ate it at the root. Yeah, it looked like something was eating it at the root. Just tearing it up. Just look at that. I don't know what's going on there. But the black cherry tomatoes that I started from seed, they all died. So I saw 2 of them and I purchased 2. And here's the other one right here. And it's doing really good. Just look at it. And as you know, this black cherry is one of my favorite tomatoes. I just love that black cherry tomato. It tastes so good. And I don't know, I'm going to get down in that hole and see if it's some ants or something under there that's just tearing everything apart, because we have a major ant problem here. So now this is the Japanese climbing cucumber. Look at this. Something ate it at the root. Just look at that. And I do believe it's ants. I really do. Yeah. But these are all Japanese climbing cucumbers. And this on this side is all spaghetti squash. Okay? So now, as we go down these two rows, I'm going to kind of go from side to side, okay? So I know from the front of this to about the middle of this aisle is all butternut, right? No, spaghetti squash. And this is all the spaghetti squash that we started from seed. And of course, all of our cucumbers we started from seed. So this is the Japanese priming. And then we get into the Boston pickling cucumber. I am so excited about this because I'm hoping to do a taste test between the Boston pickling cucumber and the national pickling cucumber to see which one we prefer. Because you know Mr. H loves his dill pickles, right? So he'll be the final judge as to which one of those pickles or cucumbers that he likes the most for making his dill pickle. Okay? But you can look at the damage on these. Yeah, this is the national pickling cucumber right here. So you can see the damage on these. On some of them, you can see it. And then you have some that's just looking really good and really healthy. Just look. Some of them are looking so good and already have cucumbers on them. See? They're just looking really good while some are not. Okay? Now this is my in between the national pickling and the Boston pickling. I put some Market More 80 cucumber seeds. Okay? And so you can see this one is doing good. This one is dead. This one is good. Who knows what's going on here? Okay? On this row, we're done with the spaghetti squash. The rest of this is all butternut squash. And it's starting to make its way through the trellis. And we're going to have to be the ones to kind of guide this into the trellis because we want it to grow up on the trellis and not sprawl out over the ground. And the rest of these are Boston pickling cucumber. And they're looking pretty good as well. Look at that. Yeah, they're looking, ants on me. Yeah, they're looking good as well. All right, y'all, so this is our row of peppers. And this was supposed to be our row of squash. The row of squash is quite sad. We don't see but one plant here. And that's because all of the others died and none of the other seeds that we planted have come up. So I had to restart some seeds, but I did them in the containers. And I put them in the greenhouse in hopes of getting some squash. These are just a lot of the bell peppers here, and they're growing. They're growing. They're looking good. They're looking good. And I've staked them with these little bamboo stakes. Now, we purchased some bamboo stakes from one of the big box stores last season, and we are reusing a lot of them, although they get kind of brittle. So it's not a good idea to kind of like leave them out in the weather over the winter because they start to get kind of brittle. So if you do buy these, I would suggest taking them up after the season is over and storing them, putting them away. But don't just leave them in the garden all winter long because they can't handle it. So yeah, I think I will get better use out of them if I put them up every season, after the end of the season. And then along this row right here, you all, I'm gonna cross over. These are all of the hot peppers. Now remember, that frost killed all of Mr. H's jalapeno peppers, and I had to go and buy some starts because it's much too late to start pepper seeds over again. So I got a lot of his peppers in the ground already. So we lost the lemon spice jalapeno, which is the one that I wanted, right? And I wanted the lemon drop. Lost that one too because of the freeze. So we're just stuck with just jalapenos stuff. But that's okay. It's going to be okay. So we have a lot of jalapeno peppers here. And some banana peppers. Look at that. Let's look at that. We have a few peppers like this, a few plants like this. And again, I believe it's the ants, because they're just eating them leaf by leaf. Just leaf by leaf. Okay, you all, so now we're on our row with the okra. And this row was primarily going to be the heavy hitter okra that I planted. I purchased these seeds from Baker Creek, and I was very excited about planting these because they're supposed to be heavy producers. So I planted an entire row of these, okay, and lost all of them. And I didn't have, well, I'll say I lost 90% of them and didn't have any more seeds. And one of our subscribers sent us some heavy hitter okra seeds. And I was like, this is a lifesaver. Because I really wanted to try this okra, so I planted the seeds that they sent. So thank you all so much for those seeds because they saved us. Now this right here is one of our sunflowers right here. And I had a lot of sunflowers and I lost a lot of them due to the temperatures. And so my sunflower garden, I just had to put it on hold. But the ones that survived, I just planted them in different places throughout the garden. So this is one of those sunflowers right here. All right, so this is our row of paste tomatoes. All of our paste tomatoes, I started them from seed, right? And some of them are doing good, some of them are not, okay? But again, these temperatures are playing a really big role in how well the crops are doing right now, right? So this is all paste tomatoes on this row. On this row, I have Amish paste tomatoes. I have an orange icicle. I did not plant any of the San Marzanos this season. I just wanted to stick to 2 varieties this year, and I'm kind of glad that I did. So just having the orange icicle and the Amish paste tomatoes, that's perfect. I chose the orange icicle. Not only does it taste good, but it's a beautiful contrast when you're making salsas and whatnot. It's just a beautiful contrast with that color because it is a deep orange kind of a paste tomato. Looks really good and it tastes really good. All right, y'all, so before we start with the tomatoes, this was another row, supposed to be, of okra. This was going to be our Jambalaya Okra row, and one of our subscribers sent us some red burgundy okra, and we had that planted, but as you can see, 99% of it is dead. So that's okay. What I have done again is in the greenhouse, I have started more okra seeds. So this time on the row with the heavy hitter, I'm going to have heavy hitter okra and emerald okra. On this row, I'm going to have some jambalaya. I'm going to have the red burgundy, and one of our subscribers also sent us some pink Okinawa okra seeds. So I started some of those too, just to be able to taste them all, okay? This is I have 2 rows of slicers, okay? This is one row here, and over from this okra is another row of all slicer tomatoes, and I have so many varieties, and I said I wasn't gonna do that, but I did it anyway. So I got a ton of different varieties out here, okay? Now everybody knows that I wanted to try that German Johnson tomato, and of course I have it. I have the Cherokee Purple out here. I have a German Queen out here. Come on, I have a lot of varieties, so let's just look at them. Let's just look at them, y'all. And this right here, and these over here, you can see they're doing good. They're growing well, okay? What is that one? This is one that I purchased. Oh, this is one that I purchased. This is a red beefsteak tomato right here. So yeah, that's a beefsteak. And I left the tag in so I would know that it was one that I purchased. All right. So what else do we have? That's beefsteak. This is a big boy tomato plant right here. Yeah, this is a big boy. Wow. It's already getting big. I think that is too. Okay, now these right here are the German Johnsons right here. Yeah, these are the German Johnsons. I tried to keep all of them together. And then, I'm not going to keep crossing over. But these are German Johnsons. Yeah. All of these. That's a lot of German Johnson tomatoes. But they had them in a 6-pack. What else I was supposed to do? So I bought a lot of them. Y'all know that yellow sunray that we grew last season that I just love so much? Well, I lost them all during the freeze, right? And I know this probably won't come close to it. And it's a cherry tomato, but it's called a sun sugar, right? So I saw the reviews on it. And a lot of people seem to like this tomato. So I decided to grow a few of the sun sugars, despite the fact that I won't enjoy my delicious sunray tomato, which to me is by far the best tasting yellow tomato I have ever had, ever. And if you think you know a tomato variety that is yellow that tastes better than sunray, please post it in the comment section below. I would love to try it, but at this moment, I'm sold on the sunray only, hands down, the best yellow tasting, wait, let me say it again. The best tasting yellow tomato on the planet. So I have a ton of German Johnson, better boys, big boys, and German queens right here. So the difference between the German Johnson and the German queen, I have no idea, but I figured we'd give them a try. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to pop back over to this row of tomatoes. Actually, just one of our sunray tomatoes survived, and that's this one right here. And I actually thought I was going to lose it, but I did not. It's still here. Look at that. One sunray tomato. I'm going to pinch off that bottom leaf because it's not looking so good, so we'll pinch that off. This one too. Yeah. So the rest of these are Cherokee Purple right here. I have a lot of Cherokee Purple. I lost one here, but hey, I got another one that I could plant because I still have quite a few. No, I think I have like 4 tomato plants that are the Cherokee Purples that survived that I can put in that spot. So a lot of these tomatoes are looking good. And I know right now everything is looking just so like not much going on. But y'all, just give it a few weeks. And this garden, God willing, this garden is going to be just flourishing. It's going to have so much life, so much growth. Because I got a feeling that once it starts to warm up, it's going to like warm up and that's going to be it. It's going to go from being cool temperatures to just scorching heat. Which tomatoes, well, not scorching heat, but tomatoes and squash and okra, they love the hot temperatures, right? So yeah, I got a feeling that once it starts to take off, it's going to start to take off. All right, y'all, so these tomatoes here are our Mr. Stripy tomatoes. We had these on our seed store. Now, actually, let's see. Now, that's more Cherokee Purple right here. But starting from this point, going back to that last tomato, these are all Mr. Stripy. And they taste good and produce a beautiful tomato as well. I love the color of that Mr. Stripy, but it also has a delicious flavor. And we'll look at it together once they start to grow. But the tomato is doing really good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get down here and pinch off the bottom leaf here, because anytime these leaves start looking like they're getting any type of a disease or anything like that, just anything, if they don't look healthy, I'm going to take them off, okay? So, and that's just to hopefully keep the entire plant healthy, all right? So far, pulling these leaves off, I'm hoping will keep the entire plant in good condition. Okay, so if you look here and behind me, you'll see 2 rows with nothing in it. And that's because we started green beans in these rows. I had a row of the jade green bean, and I had a row of the striped green beans, which is a heavy producing green bean. So I had 2 rows of green beans here. None of them have come up because the temperatures are just too cool. These beans, they don't like cool weather. So if the temperatures like we're getting down in the low 50s, these beans are not going to do well. And if they sprout at all, I would be really surprised, like this one did. And it's the only one out of all of them that has sprouted, right? The only one. The rest of these are completely empty. The rest of those are completely empty, and they were all planted at the same time. So I don't know if I'm going to keep that because I don't know how well it's going to do. I'm going to replant all of the beans, but not until the nighttime temperatures are in the upper 60s or 70s, okay? But these 50-degree, upper 40-degree temps, this is not doing these things any good, so no need to replant those right now, okay? All right, y'all, so this sad, sad sight is our corn patch. It's a very sad sight. Some of the corn is doing good, some of it is not. Yeah. And remember how beautiful those corn starts were, right? When I showed you the video. Remember how gorgeous they were and healthy? Well, once we got them in the ground, the temperatures have not been kind, so just look at our corn. It's a lot of grass, but look at the corn. Look at this. Just look at these poor little corn. Now this one doesn't look so bad, but then you have the one right next to it, or the one across from it. Look at that. Just look at that, right? So, poor corn. And then down here, let me show you this. This is that next patch of corn that we planted, right? Now, as you can see, some of it is doing really good. These were all the starts. Some of it's doing really good, and a lot of it has just died back. Look at these. Just look at that. Versus, and this is the same age, okay? This is the same age as this, okay? So, as you can see, some of it is doing good, some of it is not. And down here, this was the area that we started from seed. And you know how I feel about starting corn from seed. And as you can see, none of it is up on these 2 rows, and we have it coming up sporadically here, here, nothing here, and here. So it's very sporadic. So you all, the corn, not so good. What I'm going to do, again, is wait till these overnight temperatures are in the upper 60s and 70s. And then I am going to replant corn. I'm going to start it from seed in the greenhouse, and then I will come out and transplant. All right? But that's what's going on in the garden. So weather does play a really big role. Just in case you didn't know. I don't know how you wouldn't know, but weather plays a significant role in when to plant and how well your crops are going to do based upon those temperatures. Okay? So you have to keep an eye on the weather. Yeah, you have to keep an eye on the weather. But what can you do? We weren't expecting those temperatures to be like that. Not this time of year. You know, we were expecting much better temperatures. But that's okay, you all. Remember, you got to roll with the punches, and you can't stop You can't give up. You just have to keep trying. And if it works, great. If it don't work, that's okay. You still tried, right? Better luck next season. Okay? So you all, hopefully, we'll get a good stand of corn. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see you all. But that is the garden tour. That's the whole garden. That's the garden. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for the garden tour. As you can see, it don't look like much right now. I know it don't look like much of nothing right now, but that's okay. Hopefully here in just a few short weeks, it's gonna look like just something so beautiful, just the way I imagine it to be during the summer months. We'll see, right? So in any case, you know, it's hard being a farmer. It's hard growing your own food because you just can't control everything, right? You can't control the weather. You just can't control it. There's just some things out of your control, but you just do the absolute best you can. That's why you got to have a lot of respect for your local farmers, because you know they go through a lot trying to grow food and get it on the dinner table. So you all, that's it. That's it for the garden tour. All right, I hope you like that garden tour. We are going to do a follow-up garden tour once everything starts growing, and we're going to take you along with us, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. We're still going to take you along with us, okay? All right, y'all, that's going to do it. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we upload to our channel. And thank you all so much for watching Homestead Heart. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. We're going to see you in the next video. And remember, y'all, grow your groceries.